Well, back home, and at least 300 Qantas engineers have walked off the job for 24 hours this morning. The Qantas Engineers Alliance is asking for a 5% annual pay rise for members and an additional 15% to compensate for wage freezes during the pandemic. Joining us live now is aviation writer from the Australian newspaper, Robyn Ironside. Robyn, good to see you. Thanks, as always, for your time. Has there been any disruption to flights or schedules today as a result?
Well, Qantas is adamant that there have been no disruptions. Looking at the flight boards at Brisbane Airport and Melbourne Airport, there are very few cancellations. I've seen about one or two between Brisbane and Canberra, Melbourne and Sydney. So certainly not a lot of disruption. Qantas said it put in the same contingencies as it did last time. The engineers took this industrial action, which was on the grand final weekend. So they're fairly well practiced now at doing without them.
And Qantas still dealing with some of the decisions they made during that pandemic period.
Indeed, certainly the decision they made to outsource their ground handling workforce has had significant ramifications for the airline, with the federal court this week ordering them to pay compensation of about $170,000 for 3 test cases, and that represented non-economic losses. So there's still economic losses to come, and then there's compensation for the remainder of the workforce, which amounts to almost 1,700 workers. So, yes, certainly a very big bill that they're facing for that decision.
Robyn, just on another matter. Now, usually when you catch a plane, you hear a warning over the loudspeaker that video calls on the flight are not allowed. You've reported today, though, that one airline's bucking that trend. Tell us about that, and do you expect that video calls on flights will soon be the norm?
It's surprising in a lot of ways that Qatar Airways is becoming the first international airline to allow video calls, team meetings, Zoom meetings on flights as a result of this new Starlink technology that they are rolling out on their Boeing 777s. They expect their entire Boeing 777 fleet to be fitted with this technology by next year, and then they'll start on their A350 fleet. The technology allows high-speed internet access, so you'll be able to stream films, watch live sports, as well as conduct video meetings and Zoom meetings. Qatar says it expects that passengers will be considerate of their fellow passengers when using this technology, and they're expecting on overnight flights, passengers will still opt to sleep rather than have video chats.
Yeah, I can imagine listening to someone else's Teams meeting in the middle of a flight might not be conducive to much sleep in the seat next door. Meantime, Qantas is still yet to roll out Wi-Fi on all of their planes.
Indeed, Qantas have had Wi-Fi in the domestic fleet now since about 2017. But yeah, the lack of Wi-Fi on their international aircraft has been seen as something of a weakness for Qantas, given so many other international airlines offer some sort of Wi-Fi service. So Qantas has always been adamant that it wasn't going to do it until it could do high-speed internet that would be free of charge for all customers. And it now expects that to be ready by the end of this year on its A330 fleet, which fly mostly between Australia and Southeast Asia. And the 787s and the A380s that do the longer haul flights will be fitted with the technology sometime next year.
Robyn Ironside, I appreciate the update. Thanks so much.